Hi guys, so good to be here with you today. I'm Jody, holistic health coach for women trying to get pregnant and for women who are pregnant and those new moms who just need to know how to feel better in their bodies. So we have another amazing plant-based recipe today, and our star of the show is going to be the potato. And being from the Midwest, I always had potatoes around for dinner and lunch, and as I grew up, I sort of came to believe that they were not that great of a vegetable. In fact, I often would not eat them on purpose. And probably like myself, you have heard that potatoes might cause you to gain weight or not be able to get into shape or those type of things, when this isn't true at all. All vegetables have power, and so do all plants in general, but there are so many things about potatoes that you're missing out on in your body and in your life and in your diet if you're not consuming them on the regular. So they are going to be the star of the show. Now, in general, I'm not like a big potato salad kind of girl, but it's because of the ingredients that are typically in the dish, not because it's made of potatoes. So because of the theme for today's episode, which is beating fertility blocks like fibroids, cysts, and PCOS, we really want to focus on the potato for things to help treat those type of conditions, but also what we don't want to have in the body, because that will cause those types of conditions to proliferate and to just hang around. So the problem with potato salads is usually the mayonnaise, the sugar in the mayonnaise, the eggs. So eggs are a big virus and bacteria feeder, so you want to get those out of your gut if you're having any kind of health inflammation and condition there. And so those are the type of things that we don't want to put in the body. So you can still have really great flavor and potato salad and enjoy all of the health benefits as well. So we're not going to do mayonnaise, we're not going to do eggs, but we are going to use the potatoes. So these are just regular B-size. It's a blend of different colors, organic potatoes. All of my food is organic, so do the best you can. If you're, deciding what to do, just do as much organic as you can, because again, some of the things that are causing these issues are linked to pesticides, to herbicides, to plastics, and we need to get those out of the body, especially if you want to be in the best shape to have a baby. So it doesn't matter what type of potato you use, but get your potatoes, and the way that we are going to cook them for our potato salad is to steam them. And that's the best way to preserve the minerals and the trace minerals that are so dense around the skin of the potato. So potatoes do a really good job of pulling up minerals from the earth, and you want to get those in your body. So just remember that anytime that you consume a food, you're taking in everything about that food, what it has to go through to become the full grown version of itself, and the vitamins and minerals that are in it. And so if you're consuming foods that are gross and processed, then that's what you are putting in your body as well. So always remember that, okay? So just put a steamer basket. That's my favorite way to do steamed things right now. You put a glass colander or a steamer basket on top of a saucepan with boiling water. I did that, and these, because I cut them into half and then to quarters, it took about 10 to 12 minutes, and I covered them with a lid. So depending on how many you put in there and what size they are, it might vary. But this is the best way to do your potatoes, because then you can make extra, put them in your fridge, and store them. And when you go back to have them later in the day or later in the week, you want to consume them with some leafy greens, raw leafy greens, because you, by putting them together, will be helping your body absorb more alkaloids from the leafy greens, which is another benefit of that specific food pairing. And you can do that with sweet potatoes as well. So it's a good tip and trick to always remember. Make more ahead of time. All right, so let's run down the full list, and we'll just get to putting this together because it's very easy. So potatoes, we have shallots. So purple little shallots are here, and notice they're already peeled. This is very amazing and awesome. Like, you don't need to mess around with all that stuff. You can buy them like this these days. It's a great skip ahead step, and you're still getting the real fresh produce. So same with garlic. That's how I buy my garlic. So we're gonna chop probably a small shallot to half of a medium shallot as part of our flavoring. And then the best herb to go with this type of dish is dill. So I've just got, look at this, it looks like a weeping willow tree. Fresh dill, and then I'm gonna put a little bit of fresh parsley as well, which I just pulled off a little bit of the bunch here. But do as many fresh herbs as you can get into your body all the time. So parsley is number one or number two out of all the fresh herbs that I would have you eat daily, if possible, because it's a huge antiviral, antifungal, and antibacterial. And so just like the potatoes, which are also all of those things, they will go into your gut and your body and try to fight whatever is causing these issues in your gut, in your uterus, in your ovaries, and break them apart and take them down. So these types of foods are what you want to focus on and consume regularly. So if you believe that food is medicine, you want to take it consistently and eat it consistently and know what it's doing for you. That brings it more power. Okay, so we've got dill and parsley, shallots. All right, so then black olives. This is really basically for my husband because he will eat anything with black olives in it. And it's a really kind of like Mediterranean flavor, so it goes very well with the salmon. Okay, this is wild caught salmon packed in water in a safe container and can. So look also on your cans, things that you're buying in the store. You want to make sure that they're not lined with chemicals because, again, that's going to slow the body down. And being overloaded with chemicals and toxins is one of the main reasons behind fertility. Even if people are telling you otherwise or mystery infertility, this is the reason. So you have to be able to cut all of that stuff out. All right, now if you don't want to use salmon, you could swap it and do a different kind of seafood or leave it out altogether. But I do like to do some of these like easier versions in the pouch or in a safe tin if you don't feel like filleting or grilling salmon every single time you want to have it. So it's a really good thing for a quick lunch or dinner. So you can do, again, extra of these. Do a couple of them together so you have more leftovers. All right, then we're gonna do butter lettuce, Bibb lettuce, Boston lettuce, butter lettuce, whatever you wanna call it, right? This is one of my favorite things. Here, you can do this as a lettuce wrap, of course, or just chop it up more finely and make it into a salad. But you would never know or never think that Bibb lettuce was high in healthy fats, would you? Because it's like a leaf. You'd think, oh, there's nothing really much to it. But this is very, very good DHA, EPA, omega-3s. You want that for your brain. You want that for your baby's brain. So even if you're already, if you already have a baby and you're breastfeeding, this is something that you want to consume very often. And then for flavor, I'm going to do 2 types of mustard. I love using mustard for flavor enhancers. Even just sometimes I'll do like dip carrots in it. It just tastes good. So plain yellow mustard. There we go. And German, because I'm German. No, I'm just kidding. It just tastes good. It has a lot of spices in it. So you could also do a Dijon. You want to make sure that your mustards do not have yellow food dye or sugar in them. Okay? All right. And I have some lemons here because I always have lemons here. We might just zest a little lemon zest on top to brighten our flavors up. So, of course, this is so easy now. We're just going to put it all together. So I've chopped some dill. I'm going to add my parsley. You can have fun with different flavors of herbs. And I'm going to throw those right into the salmon here. And then start chopping this little shallot, okay? And onions are another one that's really good for cleaning out the gut. So I would recommend shallots in this type of recipe, or scallions or green onions, whatever you want to call them, because they're just a lighter onion flavor. So you always, of course, could do a regular onion or a red onion. They're just a little bit more bitter. They have more of a bite. So I tend to like those when they're caramelized or sauteed. However, it's your potato salad, so you can do it however you want. So far, so good. Let me get my fork. Just kind of fork it together. Literally, you guys you could do even just part of these ingredients and you would still get a lot of flavor out of this. So you can mix and match. Crab would also be good if it's like a wild caught crab, not imitation. Do not eat that. Don't eat anything that's imitation. All right, a couple olives we'll slice and dice to put in here. And you might also be thinking about salt. I did not add salt to the water of my potatoes because of the olives being salty and, you know, just the mustard having a lot of flavor and the herbs having a lot of flavor. But we'll taste it when we get done. And if it needs a little salt, we'll add a little bit of salt. Okay. I also typically don't use very much salt when I cook because my husband will add salt to everything I make, even if it doesn't need salt. It's like he just has to taste it or has to put more on. It's like a thing that he does. All right, so we've got the olives. Again, it's looking beautiful, right? Okay, everything is in, I think, except let's just do a couple squirts of mustard. I'd say probably 1 to 2 tablespoons of each one. And again, no need to really measure. You're not gonna mess this up. You can make it more or less creamy depending on what you like. And I've had people ask me about avocado mayonnaise, and it's obviously a much better substitution than regular mayo or mayonnaise in the store, but there are egg yolks in it. So if you have any kind of health condition, I wouldn't do it. I would just, you know, smash avocado or do this kind of thing instead with the mustards. So I just added a little bit more, eyeballing it here. So we've got a little bit of a yellow tint going on. Okay, great. So we've got our salmon. We're gonna mix that into our potatoes, and then we will put it on our lettuce, and we'll be good to go. Sometimes when you make this, the potatoes get a little bit smashed, but that's okay. Especially if you're gonna put it in a wrap. It just gets folded up anyways, all right? Okay, so a couple other things to know about your potatoes are, besides the fact that they're really high in trace minerals, that they absorb and fight off bad bacteria and toxins, is that all of our foods have emotional and spiritual components in them as well. So if you are feeling like you are doing something because someone else believes it or it's not what you really want to do, potatoes will help you in that regard as well. Just think about how they get blamed for being bad for your health. So they get it on that emotional and spiritual plane. So if you're feeling like you don't really want to do something, such as take all the medicine or take all the drugs, or you know, it could be anything in your life. If you feel like you're doing something you don't want to do, it doesn't line up with your beliefs, potatoes are going to help you on the emotional plane to stabilize that as well. Okay, so these are really, really good for healing the gut, for healing those kind of inflammation, those inflammatory conditions related to fertility. So I've had lots of clients who in the past will come to me and, you know, they're dealing with these chronic inflammatory conditions and been scared away from eating potatoes and eating basically so many foods, all grains and those types of things. And sometimes it takes a little bit of coaxing, but we bring them back into eating them and they thrive on them. So these things are going to help you to get rid of the bloating in your gut, to heal pain in your joints. They are part of the healing process. So we need to include them and stop avoiding them as well. All right. And so here's the other thing that you need to know with, if you have any of the things that are listed in this recipe title, like the fibroids, the cysts, the polycystic ovarian syndrome, just remember that those things are not hard to figure out. At the root of them, it's a virus or it's a bacteria. And so you can therefore know that foods will help you to cure those things and to heal those things. And so that's what I do with my clients is we talk through what symptoms they have, if they've had a diagnosis or not, and then I'm able to understand where the problem is right away. Where do we need to start? So we always know that we have to work on healing our gut. And when we have something that's beyond that, like cysts or fibroids or a condition with a diagnosis, that actually you don't need to look at that in a bad way, because it gives me a lot of information and insight on what you actually need. And so always remember that when you have a health problem, half the battle is knowing what's wrong and then just knowing what to do. And there isn't anything out there that there's no solution for. And food can help you no matter what you have, okay? So look at this now. We've got the potatoes, the salmon, the mustard, the shallots. It's smelling really good. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of put it over the lettuce bed right now. And then you guys decide when you make this recipe how you want to serve it. It's very beautiful. I would even say it's tending to look more of like a spring dish, but you know, this could be great for an appetizer. It could be great for a side. It could be great for a picnic with your family, or for a lunch on the go. So that's where this recipe came from. Last week I made something like this for my husband when he was traveling for work. So it's very portable as well. All right, so here we go. Whoops. Salmon dill potato salad on a bed of leafy greens. I'll make sure to get the picture up for you guys on my blog. So again, remember, if you want to have the full recipe in print, you can find it there. And in my private Facebook group, Pure Foodies, okay? And I'm gonna put the link below if you are dealing with any of these things, if you're trying to get pregnant or if you're pregnant and you still aren't feeling good, because sometimes what happens is when hormones flare, these other things will get triggered and come into bigger effect. I'll put the application for my baby body breakthrough session, and you can set up a time to talk to me and we can figure out exactly what's going on for you, what foods you need to have in your body right now, what you need to stop eating, and what else might be going on the emotional plane or the spiritual plane that also needs to be addressed, so that everything can come into alignment so that you can feel good in your body, you can get rid of the bloating, get rid of these inflammatory symptoms, and you can get pregnant if that's your goal, or you can continue along in your healthy pregnancy. So I will be back soon with another good and healthy plant-based recipe, and I'll look for you then. Bye.